Hi everyone. Today I'm going to explain another very important manufacturing tool. It is called 8-step problem solving. When we talk about the problem solving, actually there are two types of problem solvings: plaster solutions and quick solutions. Plaster solutions mean, sometimes we have to take some quick solutions. But when we take the plaster solution, that problem can be happen again and again. So if we want to solve the problem, at least more than 80% fixed solution, then we have to follow the 80-step problem solving mechanism. This is same. Actually, some people call this as a PDCA concept. I'll explain that thing also. 80-step problem solving and PDCA concept is very much close things. Okay, you can understand in future slides. Before I talk about the problem solving, first we want to get some idea about what is the problem. So there is a simple definition. I think you can see on the screen now. Problem equal ideal, if not we can tell expectation, if not we can tell standard minus actual. So if there are any deviation, difference in between the ideal condition and actual condition, that is we can call it as a problem. Simply I can explain. We think, we are expecting 70% efficiency. 70% efficiency. But our actual scenario is 50% efficiency. Then what happened? There is a 20% deviation. That 20% deviation we can call it as a efficiency related problem. When we talk about the damage percentage, so our expectation is 3%. We think our organization actual damage percentage is 10% or something. Then what happened? There is a -7 deviation. So when we talk about the damage percentage, there is a -7% problem. So I think it is very clear how we can identify the problem. Problem is difference between ideal and actual situation. Okay. Before going to the 80-step problem solving, I would like to little bit talk about, how we can solve the problem. There are a lot of mechanisms we can use to solve the problem. As example, sometimes we solve the problem based on our experience, by experience. Sometimes we never know about the problem, but by using the common sense also, we are giving some solutions. That solutions can be okay, and also it may be failed also. And also we can solve the problem based on the facts. We can go to the real place, we can collect the observation, we can collect the data. Then based on the facts, we can solve the problems also. And if we have some 6 month, 1 year past data, by analyzing the data also, we can solve the problem. But very important thing is, what is the confidence level that same problem never happened in future? So that is our requirement. That means if the organization have some problem, if it is repetitive and burning, so we have to use the quick solution. So by experience, by common sense, based on the fact, analyzing data, so we have to think what is the confidence level. So because of that, if we want to give the fixed solution, definitely we have to go for the 80-step problem solving methodology. Again, I am telling this is actually same to the PDCA concept. You can see, that is why I put like this, 80-step problem solving and PDCA, that is 100% same. Now you can see what are the 80 steps. The step number 1, clarify the problem. Step number 2, break down the problem. Step number 3, target setting. Step number 4, root cause analysis. Step number 5, develop countermeasures. Now, when we see the picture, you can understand from step number 1 to step number 5, we can put P, that means plan in stage. So, step number 1 to 5, we can call this as a plan. When we come into the step number 6, see countermeasures through. In the step number 5, already we have developed countermeasures. Then step number 6, we have to see countermeasures through, that means implementation. So because of that, we can put do. Then monitor results and process. That is step number 7. Monitor results and process mean, okay, after we implement or when we implementing, the sometime whatever the countermeasures which we have developed can give the results based on our expectation, as well as sometime it may be paid. So because of that, we have to check whether our process is going well or not. So because of that, we talk about under the step number 7, monitor results and process. That is also we can tell as a check. We can tell as a check. When we come into the step number 8, it is called standardized successful process. When we going through the monitoring process, okay, if we felt and if we observe whatever the things which we have done, okay, it will give the expected results. Then what we can do, we can standardize whatever the countermeasures we have developed. So it is actually act, because if the results not given based on our check-in activity, we realize, okay, after we implement, the expected results will not achieve. Then definitely we have to change the countermeasures again. So for the standardization or change the countermeasures, that means we have to act based on the observation, based on the monitoring. So because of that, we can tell this is as a act also. So now you can understand when we go through the step number 1 to 8, okay, from step number 1 to 5, we can call those steps under the plan. Then step number 6, it is do. Step number 7, it is check. And step number 8, it is act. So 8-step problem solving is 100% equal to the plan, do, check, and act. Because of that, again, I am telling 80-step problem solving 100% same to the PDCA concept. Right. Now I am going to explain a little bit about these 8 steps by using the example, because then it will be very easy to understand. It will support you to understand this concept. Okay. Step number 1, clarify the problem. So I took some example. It is related to the cost per minute value. I think everyone know about cost per minute value. Okay. As previously explained, problem is equal to expectation minus actual. Then under the clarification part, problem clarification part, we have to understand the problem. Okay. I took some example. Okay, problem. Expectation is cost per value 4. In here, I put Indian rupees. Okay, don't worry about that. If you want, you can put the US dollar. If you want, you can put Sri Lankan rupees, anything. Okay, but in here, I put Indian rupees. So, cost per minute expectation is Indian rupees 4. But when we consider the organization current scenario, I took the example. Don't worry about that. This is not the real value. So, current cost per minute value is 6.54 Indian rupees. Then deviation. How much the deviation? Minus 2.54 Indian rupees. So, in this case, our example, our problem is 2.54 Indian rupees cost per minute. So, now problem solving means we have to give some solution to minimize this gap, 2.54. Sometime after the problem solving activity, we can't reach 100% whatever our expectation, but at least we have to reach to the near place. We have to understand that thing also. Okay. Now already we have clarified the problem. So we have to go for the second stage, break down the problem. Now you can see this example. Okay. I just put, okay, surplus problem is cost per minute value. Okay. Then there are two causes. As example, cost per minute value mainly depend on the operating manpower cost and also standard minute achievement. Because if we can achieve more standard minute, then definitely our cost per minute going to be reduced. And also if our manpower cost is very much less, definitely our cost per minute value is less. Then I just go on to next step also. I identified second causes. When we talk about the operating manpower cost, it can be employee salaries, contractor payment, overtime cost. When we talk about the standard minute achievement, number of pieces produced, and also efficiencies. Now you can see, okay, initially we talk about the cost per minute value. When we come into the first causes level, I divided that cost per minute value into two categories. Then when we come into the second causes level, I divided that cost per value into the 5 categories. Now already I have break down the problem. So if we want to solve this problem, okay, I can attack to this part, I can attack to this part, I can attack to this part. If not, I can attack to this part, this part. If I capable, I can attack to all the 5 parts. So I break down the problem. Why we want to break down the problem? Then that big problem we can categorize into several parts. Then it will easy to give solution. Okay, one by one we can solve the problem. So because of that, we have to break down the problem. Okay. Step 3 is target setting. After we break down the problem, now we have to set the targets. Okay, so I just put some targets. As example, cost per minute value, definitely that ultimate target is 4 Indian rupees. Man to machine ratio, also I put target 1.6. Standard minute achievement, I put target 4,55,510. Efficiency, we want to reach 65%. Manpower cost per day, okay, I already put in here this much of manpower cost per day we have to reach. These are the targets. Already we have put the timeline, 3-month time period. So I am expecting to achieve this target within the 3 months. When we talk about the target setting, please keep in your mind, we have to put the SMART target. SMART target. I think you can understand what it mean by SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. In here, okay, all the target is specific. Then all things can measured without an issue. These are achievable limits, realistic, and already I put the time bound here, timeline here, 3-month time. So in this moment, I have completed 3 steps. What are the 3 steps? I already clarified the problem. I already break down the problem, and also I set the targets. Now I have to move to the 4th step. What is the 4th step? Root cause analysis. Now you can see, okay, root cause analysis. Actually, when we analyze the root cause, we have to deep down the, that means we have to start from the surface problem and we have to deep down. So when we deep down, usually we are using 5 why concept. 5 why concept. That means we have to ask 5 times why. That is not hard and fast rule, because sometimes when we ask the 4th why, the final answer comes. Sometimes when we ask the 3rd why, the final answer comes. Sometimes we have to ask the 7th why also. So it is not hard and fast rule, but usually according to the research, we are telling, okay, we have to ask at least 5 why. Now you can see, okay, we'll go at least 2 examples. I'm not going to discuss all the things. Employee salary cost. First why. Some employees direct and some employees in indirect. Why? exceed the world standard direct to indirect ratio. I'm talking about the particular organization. Third why. Indirect employees quantity is high. Why? Not continuous follow up the ratio. So when we talk about the employee salary cost related surface problem, the main root cause was not continuously follow up the ratio. Okay, we'll take this one, overtime cost. Why overtime cost high? Work daily overtime work. Why daily work time overtime doing? Daily target not achieved. Why? Not proper monitoring. Why? No anyone question the overtime. So root cause is, okay, why overtime cost is high? No anyone question the overtime. So we have to give the solution for these root causes. So I think it is clear to you. Okay, there are several things I have added into here, but I'm not going to explain all these things. That means when we set the target, the step 4 is we have to find out the root causes. So when we going to find out the root causes, we can use the 5 why analysis. Based on the 5 why analysis, we can find out the root cause. After we find out the root causes, step number 5 is develop countermeasures. So what is mean by countermeasures? Countermeasures mean, okay, just I type in here, countermeasures mean action points which we can take to reduce or eliminate root causes. So countermeasures mean, okay, what are the action points which we want to take to eliminate or reduce the root causes? Then previously, step number 4, already we have found the root causes. Okay, now you can see, okay, I'll show some one example. Not continuously follow up the direct-indirect ratio. That is the root cause. So these are the countermeasures. If we want to eliminate or reduce this root cause, we can take this action point. Stop the indirect employee recruitment, one action point. Prepare proper manpower budget, another action point. Transfer indirect members to the direct members, another action point. Weekly basis, review the project. Okay, that is the another action point. Okay, now you can see there are several action points. But okay, when we develop the countermeasures, all the action point which we have written in here, we can't consider for the implementation. So we can find out the overall rating. How we can find out the overall rating? We have to consider the effectiveness of the action point, feasibility of the action point, cost of the action point, time consuming for the action point, and the impact. Based on these five factors, we can give the overall rating. As example, when we talk about the stop the indirect employee recruitment, effectiveness is good. That is why we put that green color round. Feasibility is average. So I put yellow color triangle. Cost, that is also green. Time also green. Impact also green. When we talk about this action point, overall rating is green. Likewise, you can see in here overall rating green. In here overall rating is average. So in here overall rating is green. So based on that, whatever the action point, when the overall rating green or yellow, that triangle, that action point also we can consider to implement. Okay, when we going forward, okay, you can see, I'm not going to explain, but just I'll go through. Okay, you can see in here, there are some action point. When we talk about the contract workers related root cause, one action point is start skill upgrade training. But when we consider the cost and time, okay, it is not good. Because of that, overall rating come average. So the summary of this part is, when we develop the countermeasures, whatever the action point which we have written, all the action point we can't implement, we have to find out what are the action point we are going to implement through the overall rate in related exercise. That is, you have to understand. Okay. Right. Then we are moving to the step number 6. See countermeasures through. See countermeasures through mean whatever the developed countermeasures in step number 5, after we give the overall rating, we have to find what are the action point we are going to implement. That action point we have to put into the 3W plan. You know about the 3W, what, who, when. Whatever the selected countermeasures we put into the what part, then we have to give the, we have to nominate the responsible person, and already we have to define the timeline. This is the implementation plan. Because of that, step number 6 we called as a do part. When we talk about the PDCA, it is called do. So after implement, when the implementation going on, the 7th step is monitoring results and progress. Because if we not monitor what happens, sometime we are spending time, we are spending energy, but finally the whatever the expected results may not be achieved. So because of that, when going to, that means when implementation process going on, definitely we have to monitor whatever the activities which we have taken. So we can put this kind of monitoring mechanism. Okay, you can see employee salary related cost, monitoring frequencies every week. Who is responsible? HR manager. Contractor charges, we have to monitor monthly basis. Who's responsible? Finance manager. Likewise, we have to put some monitoring mechanism. Okay, based on the monitoring mechanism, if results achieving, then what we can do? We can go to the step number 8 and we can standardize whatever the countermeasures which we have developed. We can standardize and we can stabilize in the organization. When we talk about the standardization, we can use process map, we can use standard operating procedures, we can use policies and procedures, and also we can use the standard worksheet also. But we have to keep in our mind, if expected results not achieved, we can't standardize. What we have to do, again, we have to rechange the developed countermeasures. So we have to rechange the developed countermeasures. Again, we have to come to the step number 6, that means implementation, see countermeasures through. Then again, that monitoring activity, step number 7. And if it is success only, we can standardize. If it is not success, again, we have to retain the countermeasures. That is cyclic work. So this is the simple way of 8-step problem solving. Based on the research, okay, actually it's found that when we solve the problem through the 8-step problem solving, we can give the fixed solutions. So I would like to summarize what are the 8 steps. I think you can remember step number 1. What is the step number 1? Step number 1 is clarify the problem. Clarify the problem. Then what is the step number 2? Break down the problem. Break down the problem. What is the step number 3? Set target. Set target. Step number 4, root cause analysis. Step number 5, develop countermeasures. Countermeasures. Step number 6, see countermeasures through. See countermeasures through. Then what is the step number 7? monitoring progress, results and progress. Step number 8, standardization. Standardization. Okay. So again, I am explaining, clarify the problem mean we have to understand what is the problem. How we can clarify the problem? We have to think about what is the expectation, what is the actual situation, the difference between expectation and actual. That is the problem clarification. Then we have to break down the problem. Why we want to break down the problem? Actually, when we talk about the complex total problem, it will be difficult to give the answer. So we have to break down into the small parts. Then we can give the solution for part by part. Then set the target. When we set the target, definitely we have to keep in our mind. We have to follow the SMART concept. That means target has to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time bound. Then we have to do the root cause analysis. Whatever the surface problem, through the 5 why analysis, we have to find out the root causes. Then to eliminate the root causes or to reduce the root causes, what we have to do, we have to take the action point. That action point we called as a develop countermeasures. After we develop the countermeasures, we have to implement the countermeasures. That is called see countermeasures through. Then whatever the implemented thing, we have to check. That is called monitoring result and progress. If the results and progress is okay, then we can standardize. If it is not okay, again we have to go for the develop countermeasures, and we have to continue all other part again and again till the results come. Then again, I would like to tell, from step number 1 to 5, we can tell this is plan. This is plan. Then step number 6, that is called do. That is called do. Then step number 7, that is called check. Then step number 8, that is called act. Okay, act. It may be standardization or revise the countermeasures. Then 80-step problem solving, 100% same to the plan, do, check and act. That means PDCA concept. Okay, I think now you have some clear idea about the 80-step problem solving. So I'm expecting to come another video with another concepts. Till that, thank you very much to you all.